Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome back to another video. My name is Tawanda, and this is Tawanda's Blessed Life. For today's video, I have my top 10 favorite DIYs that I created in the year 2025. I'm also praying and hoping that you all had a very Merry Christmas with your family and your friends. I'm also praying that you all have a blessed 2026 that's filled with lots of love, joy, and happiness. And we're going to go ahead and get started with today's video. I hope you all enjoy and have a blessed day. Bye. For this DIY, I have this pumpkin. It came in my Michael's grab box that I purchased last year, I believe in like the end of October, the beginning of November. And so I actually just opened the grab box this week. And so this is one of the pumpkins that was in the grab box. So I'm going to start off by adding some of the Midnight Blue paint, and I'm going to mix it with some of the Dollar Tree black chalk paint. I'm leaning more into the darker navy blue for some of my decor, but the accent color in my home is navy blue. I just want to have a couple more navy blue pumpkins. I also have a dolly from, I want to say, Dollar General. I believe they're from Dollar General. I believe they were $2 for $1 when I purchased those. I've had them for a couple of years now. So I am going to go ahead and start to give my pumpkin a coat of the paint mixture that I created. I'm actually going to end up giving it 3 coats of paint. And then once it's completely dry, this is what it looks like. I absolutely love it. It matches, it actually matches my vase that I have next to my fireplace. And that's where I plan on putting it. And so then I took the dolly, folded it in half, and then just cut a little slit in it just so that it could lay just over the peduncle. And then I'm going to use some of the fabric Mod Podge to attach the dolly to my pumpkin. And this is what it looks like after the dolly is placed onto the pumpkin. I absolutely love it. And then what I actually ended up doing was I took just a small piece of the lace ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I wrapped it around the top of the peduncle just to cover up where I cut the dolly, just to cover the phrase up. And just to make it look a little bit more nicer and neater and cleaner. And that is going to be it for this DIY. I absolutely love the way that it turned out, so you'll have to let me know what you think. I actually also did cut the dolly a little bit just to lay it flat, so because it was a little bit larger than my pumpkin. But yeah, let me know what you think about this DIY. For this DIY, I have some blue push pans from Dollar Tree. I have another pumpkin that came in my grab box from Michael's. I have the Night Sky chalk paint. I have some Mod Podge, and then I have some scrap fabric. The fabric is actually from a bed skirt that I picked up at the thrift store for $5. I can't remember how long ago. I think it was like last year sometime. And I decided I was going to use some of it to create this DIY because I really wanted to use fabric on all of my DIYs for today for all of my pumpkins. And I kind of just want to use it in different ways. And so I'm going to start off by giving the pumpkin, I gave it 2 coats of the night sky paint. I absolutely love this color. It's so pretty. And then here I had just cut out a small square of that fabric. And I believe it's the one with the lamb on it, if I'm not mistaken. And then I'm going to just like fray the edges of the fabric. And then I'm going to take my fabric Mod Podge and I'm just going to give the back of the fabric a coat of the fabric Mod Podge. And I'm going to place it onto my pumpkin. And then after that, I am going to use those push pins and I'm going to place a push pin in each corner of my fabric. I also painted the push pins with the same night sky paint. And then after it dried and I was looking at it, I just kind of felt like it needed something else. So then I ended up using some of the Dollar Tree lace ribbon and just adding a little bow to it. And that is going to be it for this DIY. I absolutely love the way that this turned out. I actually also made a pumpkin pillow to decorate with alongside of this pumpkin. I think it is so stinking cute. So you'll have to let me know what you think. I also went back here. I am adding some of the vintage distress oxide in between the little creases of the pumpkin, and that is going to be it for this DIY. I absolutely love the way that it turned out, so you'll have to let me know what you think about this DIY. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. My name is Tawanda and this is Tawanda's Blessed Life, and on my channel I do decorating on a budget, DIYs, and hauls with a sprinkle of migraine enlightenment. I also do sister walk updates and lifestyle updates. So if that is something that you're interested in, go ahead and hit the subscribe button to join my YouTube family. I would greatly appreciate it. We are moving on to our last and final DIY for today. I have another pumpkin out of my grab box from Michael's, this pink one. I have some Mod Podge, fabric Mod Podge. I will be using the cottage white paint piece of fabric. I have a pick there, and then I also have my little container with all of my little scarecrows in it. Those all came from Hobby Lobby. And I'm going to start off by just cutting out a square inside of my pumpkin. So I'm going to get that square cut out, and then I am going to paint the pumpkin and also the piece of the section of the pumpkin that I cut. I'm going to go ahead and give that a coat of paint, and I'm going to give a pumpkin 2 coats of paint. And then when it's completely dry, I am going to go ahead and start to assemble my pumpkin. So here I am going ahead, and I went ahead and painted everything. So the first thing we're going to do is take my fabric. I believe that fabric came from Hobby Lobby like 3 years ago. So I decorate the outside of my home and my kitchen and my dining room with scarecrows for fall. So this will be something that I will be decorating or using in my kitchen or in my dining room. So I'm going to give the fabric a coat of the fabric Mod Podge, and then I'm going to attach it to that section of the pumpkin that I cut. And then once it's completely dry, or not completely dry, but halfway dry, and I'm going to go ahead and just use the blow dryer just to kind of speed it up some, because my goal was to have all of my fall and Halloween DIYs completed by the end of the week, which I did, thank God, so that I could kind of focus on some projects that we're doing around our home. But I still want to be able to get content out. So all of my DIYs are done for like the next month and a half. So I'm so happy about that. But this is what it looks like after it's complete halfway dry. I used a blow dryer to kind of speed it up some, like I was saying. And then I am going to use some hot glue and glue that piece to the back of the pumpkin. And I love the way that it looks. It looks like a little TV. But anyway, so I am going to go ahead and start to add or embellish the inside of my pumpkin. I'm going to use this little welcome flower or sunflower, and I'm going to add 2 of my little scarecrows. I'm also going to add this little squirrel, and I believe I added a little red truck. I think I'm going to say everything came from Hobby Lobby a couple of years ago. And then once that's complete, I'm also going to take the vintage distress oxide and also just add it to the creases of my pumpkin. And I also have a little scarecrow hat that I'm going to add to the top of the pumpkin. And that is going to be it for this DIY. I absolutely love the way that all of these turned out. I don't have a favorite. They're all my favorite. I also hot glued half beads to the scarecrows to give them some height. Um, and then once that was done, I went back and I added some moss, and then I put a little tea light in there. But my intention is to add some fairy lights. I have a box of fairy lights somewhere in my craft room. I haven't found them yet, but once I find them, I'm going to go ahead and add those to my pumpkin. And that is going to be it for today's video. Okay, so I am going to try an experiment because I wanted to try, I can't do crackle. I've tried many times. I'm going to try again anyway. I'm going to try the Elmer school glue. I don't have a lot of it in here, so I'm just going to use a little bit on a section of this. This is just a piece of cardboard, and I went ahead and painted it with some of the moss paint. So I'm going to try a section of it with the school glue. And I was trying to find, I can't find any of my other glue, so I'm going to just use some of this tacky glue, and I'm going to coat it, cover it, go over the top coat with the white chalk paint. So I am going to see how this is going to work out, because I really wanted to try and do a crackle finish on the door that I'm working on. So let's see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and just do the tacky on one side, and I'm going to do the school glue on the other side. So we'll see what happens. And now I'm going to go ahead and go over it with a coat of paint. So we'll see if this works. Although my paint is not in the best shape, so I don't know, but we'll do it anyway. Okay, I'll be back after I get this coated with the white paint. Okay, so this is how it looks after I give it the first coat. So I'm going to just use my hair dryer because my heat gun overheated and stopped working, and right now I just have my blower dryer. So oh my goodness, look at that. It's actually working. So I can use either one of those. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, so that actually, oh, I got paint over my hands. That actually looks pretty good. I will say the areas where I did not have, didn't go heavy with the paint, those areas didn't crackle as well. And this is actually the section here in the middle where they were kind of butted up against one another, but this actually looks pretty good. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do my door. So yeah, let's get started. So for this DIY, I have that crackle that I just did. I am so excited about it. I have this picture frame that I thrifted. I believe I paid $1 for it. And then I have the picture. It's like a wall sticker, and it has 2 rabbits on it. They're attached, so I actually went ahead and cut them apart. So what I did was I went ahead and took the crackle that I did and placed it into my frame, and then I'm going to attach my rabbit on top of the glass. I didn't want to place it on the crackle only because I think I might want to use this rabbit again for something else. And so and then once I had that done, I took 2 tumbling tire blocks and a craft stick, and I glued the craft stick on top of the 2 tumbling tire blocks. And then I also put a piece of the tumbling tire block, a piece of the craft stick, excuse me, at the bottom of the tumbling tire blocks to create like a vase type thing. And then I attached some burlap to the tumbling tire blocks, or to my vase. So I'm just going to hot glue that together. And then once that was complete, I hot glued my vase to my frame. And then I have this pick of peonies. So I went ahead and took 2 of those off of the pick, and I placed them into my vase. And that is it for this DIY. I absolutely love the way that these turned out. All of these DIYs will be going in my bedroom, on my fireplace. And yeah, I just love the way that all these turned out. So you'll have to let me know what you think about this DIY. And have you ever used the Dollar Tree tacky glue to create crackle? I wasn't sure how that was going to turn out, but I am so excited that it worked out for me. So yeah, let me know what you think about the crackle. And we are moving on to our last and final DIY for today. So here is the door that I wanted to do the crackle on. So I went ahead and painted it with the Waverly Moss paint. And then there's the other bunny that I cut off from the first bunny. So I'm going to go ahead and start to apply that tacky glue on the outside of my door because I didn't have that much left. And then I'm going to add then I'm going to use the school glue on the inside of the door. Now I will say that the tacky glue worked a lot better than the school glue did. And I believe it's because the school glue was runnier, and I did not get as much crackle as I would have liked to have gotten from the school glue, but I still like the way that this actually ended up turning out. So here I am I went ahead and applied my tacky glue and my school glue. So here I am giving it a coat of the white Waverly paint, and I'm going to just try and give it all just one stroke of paint if I can. And here you can see it was a little bit runny, so the paint was kind of moving around. So I'm going to go ahead and use my blow dryer to start the crackling process. And like I said, the tacky glue worked out a lot better. And I did do this process for a different DIY, and it didn't work out as good as it did for these DIYs here. And I believe it was because I thought that you could use any paint to crackle, but for some reason, whenever I try to use acrylic paint, it doesn't work out as well as this. So I'm thinking that I may just have to use chalk paint for my crackle finishes to work out like I want them to. So this is what it is currently looking like. So once it's completely dry, I'm going to go ahead and start to add my accessories or my decor. So I'm going to go ahead and add my little bunny, which, oh my God, is so stinking cute. And then I have this little picture here with the cat with the pig on it. So I'm going to take the pig off, and then I am going to take some of the Dollar Tree tumbling tire blocks. I went ahead and painted them white, and I'm going to attach them to the back side of my, I'm going to call this like my fence. So I'm going to attach it to the back side of my fence, and then I'm going to hot glue it to my door just below where that section is below the bunny. And then once I have that done, I am going to start to I'm going to add some of the peonies, and then I'm also going to add I cannot remember what my leaves are called. It'll come to me after this video has been posted, but I'm going to add some greenery also. And that is going to be it for this DIY. The only thing that I really wish I would have done was add like one of those little crystal knobs to the bottom corner. I do have some knobs, but I cannot find them. So I think that when I do find my knobs, I may go ahead and do that. I think it would just make this DIY that much better. For this DIY, I have some craft sticks, and then I have some Bible verses. These are all Bible verses that refer to Jesus' death and resurrection. And so what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and put the Bible verses that I used in my description box if you want to go ahead and look at them. I will also be using the staple from the nativity scene from Hobby Lobby. I have this cross from like a past DIY, this forgiven wooden word sign from Hobby Lobby, and then I'm going to use some Mod Podge, and I have some of the Dollar Tree tumbling tire blocks. So I went ahead and cut my Bible verses to the size that I wanted, and then I went over them with some of the Waverly Antique Wax. And then I'm going to take my craft sticks and I'm going to cut them to size, and I'm going to use the Mod Podge to attach my Bible verses to my craft sticks. And I also painted my stable with the midnight blue paint. And then my cross is stained with the Waverly Antique Wax. Once everything was completely dry, I went ahead and started to assemble my stable. So what I did was I hot glued my Bible verses to the back of my stable. And then once I had it attached, I used some sandpaper to sand off any excess. And then once that was complete, I added my cross. And then I added the forgiven sign, and that is it for this DIY. I absolutely love the way that it turned out. I actually love the way that all of these turned out. So I can't wait for you all to see all of these DIYs. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. And if you're already subscribed, thank you for continuing to support my channel. I do really appreciate it.
And we are moving on. So I have 2 more napkins. I have this charger from Dollar Tree. I love this charger. And then I have this matte Mod Podge. This DIY took me 3 days to do. So I'm going to start off by adding my Mod Podge to the back of my charger. And then I'm going to attach my napkin. And then I took my second napkin and I went ahead and cut it in half, and then I cut it in the other half into halves so that I would be able to make sure that the charger is completely covered. Now, when I first did this, I lined them up instead of overlapping it a little bit, which I did for the next 3 sections, but the first section I did not do. So you can actually kind of see the difference of it. And also too, with this DIY, I The napkin didn't tear, but it looked like once it was dry, some areas didn't look like other areas. So you'll have to see, you'll see how I remedy that. But here I am just trying to make sure I line them up because I really want them to really match. So I'm just lining each section up and adding my Mod Podge. So here I am. This is me just showing you that I went ahead and just used my sandpaper to remove the excess. And then you could see that when I put my hand behind it, you could actually see it. So I decided I was going to take this white napkin and Mod Podge that on top of the blueberry napkin, just so that you would be able to see it a lot better. Which after I did that, it actually didn't really work how I wanted it to work. So then I went back over it the next day after it was so this is day 2, and so day 3 I did go back over it again with some white paint, and that made it look a lot better. So you'll see me here doing that the following day. But I'm going to go ahead and just add this napkin to the back of the charger, just so that it would give it a more of a white background, excuse me. Is day 3. I'm going to go ahead and remove the excess napkin off of the charger. So this is what it looks like, and here you can see me put my hand back there so you can actually see that there's no full coverage of the white. So I went ahead and started to add some of the apple barrel snow white paint, and then you can see the difference. And so I gave it 1 coat of that, and then I realized that if I'm going to make 4 of these chargers, I'm not going to have enough white paint. And so after I did the first coat of the white with the apple barrel snow white paint, I went back over it with a coat of just white paint from Hobby Lobby, and this is what it looks like. And this is the finished product, and I absolutely love it.
For this DIY, I have a clock. I have a stand from Dollar Tree that I've had for years, along with the rub-on transfer and the crow or raven. All those came from Dollar Tree. The spiders came from Amazon a couple of years ago. I have a tea light. I have some hot glue, a broomstick that came from the Habitat when they closed, and then a tumbling tower block. So I started off by taking the clock apart, and I've had this clock for over 20 years. I believe I had this when I was in the military. So I am going to hot glue the tea light to the back of the clock, where the area that holds the hands. I am going to place the tea light, the light, in that area so that it'll light up. So I'm going to get that hot glued onto my clock, And then after I do that, I'm going to start to reassemble my my Halloween clock, I guess is what I'll call it. And so I'm going to hot glue the hands on, and I'm going to hot glue them for the time of 10:31 for Halloween. And then I am going to hot glue my raven or crow. I'm not really sure what that is. I guess I'll just call it a raven. So here I'm just trying to figure out where I'm going to put it. And then I'm going to take that tumbling tire block and hot glue it to the back of the raven. And then I'm going to give it a little bit of height. And then I'm going to hot glue it onto my clock. And here I am deciding I'm going to go ahead and put the broom on first. So I'm going to go ahead and put the broom on, hot glue it, and I'm going to hot glue the raven on top of it to make it look like it's on a perch, but on a broom. The broom would be my perch, I guess. And I took that rub-on transfer from the Dollar Tree, and it had Trick or Treat on it, so I went ahead and cut that out. I'm going to go ahead and rub that onto the clock also. So one side I'll have Trick and the other side I have or Treat. The rub-on transfer is quite old, and so the Trick went on fine, but the or Treat did not go on all the way, but it's fine. I like the kind of rustic feel of it anyway. And then that rub-on transfer also has some spiders on it, so I cut those spiders out also. And so here I am. I have a piece of the berry picks. So what I did was I just took the berries off of it, and then I wrapped it around the raven's beak. And so you'll see me here, what I'll do with that here shortly. So I'm going to go ahead and start to assemble. So I'm going to go ahead and rub on my Trick and my rub-on transfers. And then I'm going to hot glue my bird or my raven to the clock. And I also have a skeleton head. I'm going to go ahead and place that. Once I have the raven hot glued, I'm going to place that skeleton head just below where I have I'm going to call it a vine, or I'm just going to call it a tree branch. And then I'm going to have the skeleton head just below that where it touches, where it looks like the raven is actually holding the head. And then I'm going to go back and start to add my spiders and then add my lid. And that is going to be it for this DIY. I absolutely love the way that it's turned out. I actually have this in our bathroom. It goes perfect with my Halloween decor in my bathroom. So you'll have to let me know what you think about this DIY. And sweet friends, where I absolutely loved the way this DIY turned out. So I'm going to be using some distressed oxide. I have some faux leather. I have some fabric. I have this bottle, and I also have that little squeeze ball, stress ball. I'm sure a lot of us have received those in some type of package from a doctor's office. And then I'm going to be using some fabric Mod Podge, and I'm also going to be using the orange paint and the real brown paint. And I believe, I will be using some like floral metal. I think that's what it's called. I believe that's everything that I'll be using for this DIY. So I'm going to start off by using some of my scrap fabric. I am going to attach that to my bottle using some fabric Mod Podge. So you can see me here doing that. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add that same fabric to my little stress ball. And so I am just trying to make sure that I get this bottle completely covered with the Mod Podge and with the fabric. And then once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and take my stress ball, and I also went ahead and hollowed out the inside of the stress ball so that I can place it on top of the bottle. So here I'm going to add some of the fabric Mod Podge, and I'm going to add the fabric to the top of the stress ball, and this is going to be my head. And I'm just going to place the excess fabric. I'm just going to start to put push that inside of the hole that I created inside of the stress ball. And then I'm going to take the lid from the bottle and place that inside, and then I'm going to go ahead and screw it back on top. So then I'm going to do a mixture of the and this is the next day. So then I'm going to do a mixture of the pumpkin paint with the real brown paint, and I'm going to add some water to thin it out to try and make a stain. And then so this is the color that I wanted, and then I'm going to go ahead and just paint over the bottle and the stress ball. Actually, I'm just going to call it my pumpkin. So I'm going to give it a coat of the stain that I created. Once I have that done, I'm going to go ahead and place my head back on top of my pumpkin, and I'm going to let it dry. I let it dry for about 2 or 3 hours before I came back and messed with it. And so this is what it is currently looking like. And then I took some galvanized wire, and I'm going to go ahead and start to create my arms. And I forgot to say that this is actually a dupe that I saw. So I'll go ahead and insert the picture for my inspiration for this DIY. So I'm going to use the galvanized wire to create my arms or my hands. And then once I have that done, I'm just going to just kind of twist it all around just to kind of get what I'm looking for. And I'm just going to just keep doing it, twisting it until I am happy with my results and happy with what I feel like the arms or the hands should look like. And then I'm going to paint it with some of the real brown paint and also some of the Waverly Antique Wax. So here I am using some of the Waverly Antique Wax to go ahead and stain my arms and my hands. And then I have my little container here that I have some little push pins. I'm also going to go ahead and add some of the gold rubbing buff to those. And these are going to be my buttons. I'm also going to take two of those and paint them with some black. I'm actually going to use my black paint marker, and those will be used for my eyes. And then I also have a piece of faux leather. I'm going to use that to create my nose. And then here I am just taking a piece of cardboard to create a gift tag label to write pumpkin on. I'm going to actually take a piece of that scrap fabric that I have, and I'm going to use some Mod Podge and attach that to the gift tag. I'm also going to be using that the wire that had like $1 on it that came from Dollar General. It was off of one of the little hanger or kitchen little signs. I used it for a different DIY, but I kept that. Thankfully I did. And then I also have a piece of potpourri that I'm going to be using as my peduncle. I had that last year and I was going to get rid of it, but I decided to keep it. So here I'm showing you the little push pins that I'm going to be using to create my eyes. So I'm going to just use the second DIY to kind of hold my bottle in place so that I can start to create my pumpkin face. So I'm going to start off by just trying to place everything where I want it. And then I am going to go ahead and start to hot glue my my little, actually those are bells. I don't know why I thought that those were push pins. I use bells to create my little buttons, and I added the gold rubbing buff. And then I'm going to go ahead and start to place my nose, and then I'm going to add my eyes. Once those are done, then I am going to use some hot glue and some mint glue to add to attach my arms. And then I will go ahead and tie a piece of scrap ribbon, scrap fabric, and then my little gift tag that says pumpkin onto the my pumpkin around its neck. So here I'm just using some of that cement glue, and I cut a piece of the potpourri stick, and so I'm just going to use that and add some hot glue to attach it, and then that little piece of wire that came off of a little picture from Dollar General. And it is so cute. I absolutely love the way this turned out. And then I'm going to go ahead and just start to add my arms. And after I add my arms, then I'm going to take some of the vintage Distress Oxide, and I am going to give it some little cheeks. And that is going to be it for this DIY. I absolutely love the way that it turned out. And that is going to be it for this DIY. I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Please go ahead and click on my sweet friend Melinda's link, the link to her channel. It will be in my description box. Please go ahead and watch her Trash to Treasure video. And that is going to be it for today's video. If you like what I'm doing, please like, share, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And like I always say, be nicer, be kinder. God will love you for it. And I hope you have a blessed day. And I will see you all on Sunday. Goodbye. So let's go ahead and get started with today's video. So I have these two chairs that I found on Facebook Marketplace for $5. I'm going to go ahead and start off by removing the seats off of the chairs. Here I am just trying to get those. First I was trying to get the wasp nest out of the holes where the screws were. So I'm just trying to shake those out, and I'm going to go ahead and use my screwdriver to remove the nails so that I can take the seats off. And then I am going to remove all of the tape from the bottom of the chairs. I'm not really sure why there was so much tape, but because it's been extremely hot here in Florida, the tape was like really like soft and mushy. And I have had these sitting outside for the past couple of months. So once I had those taken off, I had my husband come and help me because we were outside working on our gazebo in our backyard. And so I had him help me with cutting the decking boards that I'm going to use that we took off of the gazebo, the ones that we replaced. And so we cut those to size, and I'm just going to place them on top of the chairs just to kind of get an idea of where I want them. And then my husband went ahead and cut them for me. And so this is what they're currently looking like. And so then I took the sander and then I went ahead and sanded off. I tried to sand off a lot of the glossiness from the chairs, and also there was stickers and tape goo everywhere. So I went ahead and just sanded that stuff off. And then this is what they were looking like. And then I went ahead and sanded the back sides of the decking boards. So I didn't use the sides that were already stained because I knew I wanted to stain these. So I went ahead and flipped them over and sanded that side. And I have this other piece of board that came from my backyard. My backyard is like a treasure trove of all types of things that you can find back there. We have been doing so many things for our home, but we haven't really made it outside to our backyard to do the things that we wanted to do. So now we're in the process of doing that, and we're finding all types of things back there that the previous owners left. And so this is what it looks like after I finish sanding them. And then I'm going to go ahead and give the chairs a coat of this moss spray paint, which is so pretty. I'm going to give it 2 coats. I have a stash of paint. Whenever I go to Lowe's, they usually have their paints on clearance when you first walk in the store. I am an actual introvert, believe it or not. And so I like to go to Lowe's like early in the morning when they open, so that I'm like in there by myself pretty much. But they usually have a clearance aisle that nobody's touched because it's so early, and they usually have paints in there for like $1. So I usually buy a lot of their paints when they're on sale. Okay, so for this one, I have this resin, epoxy resin, that I use to, my idea was I was going to, well, first of all, it was so hot that my camera just overheated, so it didn't catch me doing that. But so I took the epoxy and I placed it in all of the little holes on my wood, my decking pieces. But the wood was so dry that it basically just kind of like sucked it all in and it didn't do anything. So I went ahead and just sanded it off. And so here I'm just going to give it a coat of the early American stain. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm only going to do 1 coat on all of my boards here. Originally I was just going to do a clear coat because I really liked the way the natural wood looked, but I just decided to give it a coat of stain because I'm not really sure how old these boards are, but I wanted to make sure that I kept them protected. And so after I did that, I went ahead and decided I was going to go ahead and start to assemble my chair, which yeah. So originally I was going to have my husband help me, but he was in the middle of doing something. So, and then the rain came. And then once it stopped, I was a little bit impatient. So I decided I was just going to go ahead and just knock this out myself. And so this part wasn't too bad. It was just getting the front piece on that I had some issues with. So I ended up attaching the decking boards with some liquid nail. And so here I am just doing that. I went ahead and placed them where I wanted them first. And then I added the liquid nail. And then I started to pre-drill some holes. I did end up I broke 2 of our drill bits. So you'll see that here shortly. And then I went ahead and just started to place the nails in the holes that I pre-drilled to get my bench assembled. So I wanted to make this bench. I saw something similar to this on Facebook Marketplace. and I didn't want to pay the price that they had, so I figured I would make my own. So I was on a mission to find me some chairs, and originally the lady had these chairs posted for $10. She had them posted for 15, and then she marked it down to 10. And then as soon as I saw them, it said $10, which I would have been fine with paying $10. Then the price went down to $5. So I was like, oh, that's fine. So I contacted her and I got them for $5. So, which is a great deal. And so here I am, just pre-drilling my holes to attach my screws. And so I forget what I was talking about, but yeah, so I thought $5 was an awesome deal. So I told her I could come get them the next morning. And so I've had these sitting out in my carport for the past couple of months. I did put these in a haul video that I did a couple of months back, but yeah, so I am really liking the way that this is turning out. And here's when I actually end up breaking the drill bit. You'll see that it's like hanging, it's just inside of the chair. So there it is there. And then the rain came back again. And so I went back inside and rested for a little bit. And then once it stopped raining, I came back out. And here I am adding the screws. I'm actually just using the screws that came out of the chairs originally, because this bench is going to sit up under my carport. I wanted to make this because I wanted to be able to I wanted something nice up under my carport, and also the bench that I have up under my carport, I'm going to move that to my backyard because we are having a section of our backyard paved, and I wanted to put that bench in front of the fire pit that we're going to have installed. And so here I am just struggling, trying to get the front piece on. And then I had to call for reinforcements. So my husband did have to come out and help me because I could not, I went ahead and pre-drilled everything, but I just could not hold it and screw the piece of wood in on the front of it by myself. And so once I had my holes pre-drilled and I was attempted to try and get this done by myself, it just did not work. But anywho, squirrel. So my plan is to place this bench where I had the black one over in the corner. And then I had planned on decorating for fall outside of my home this weekend, but it's been storming all day, so that's not going to happen. So here's my lovely husband who came out to assist me with this. So he went ahead and placed the screws into where I needed them to go. And then we tested out the bench to make sure that it was sturdy. And then the next day I came out and I sprayed it with some of the Rust-Oleum clear coat, which was a big mistake for me. It actually left like this white like film or coating on the wood and on the chairs. I was able to go over the chairs and give them another fresh coat of stain to cover that film. But once the rain stops, I'll have to go back and give the chairs a fresh coat of the moss paint.